everyone, and welcome to Ships Worldwide.
A brand new podcast by yours truly.
Kind of brand new. We're treating this as a reset, really. It was for those of you who might be confused as to why this is appearing in your iTunes or Google Play Store stuff, essentially we've decided to refocus the podcast. Sherbert Land was an extended pilot series, really.
Yes.
It was the trial run. It was seeing how it would go.
We've never done podcasts before.
I mean,
I
have.
Actually built one up from the ground up, that type of thing.
I mean, I have in junior high when we made the iTanner podcast, which was us trying to make our own iCarly. It was the worst thing ever. So we've refocused the podcast.
Yes.
So we're going to do reintroductions and tell you what the differences are here for those who are joining us for the first time on this new experience here. Yes. So, hello there. My name is Tanner, otherwise known as Goodbye 18,000 or Tanner of the North. I'm slowly transitioning into that because having numbers in your username, it's not very professional. And so I've always gone by Tanner of the North on the side, and then I realized, wait, I can just change it. So I've been doing that. I am on our worldwide podcast. I am more focused on the Eastern side of things. So JRPGs, anime, manga, all that good stuff. That's what I grew up with, and that's what I still focus on now. And with me we have
Adrian, also known as Age 1000.
Yeah, sorry about the numbers thing. I just realized.
I'm also going to change it too. I have another name.
What is it?
Cactus Person.
Okay.
That's just the name I came up with.
I've never heard that, but okay.
When I was a kid. I'll transition eventually, but for me, I grew up on the Western side of the media, such as first-person shooters. Not much anymore, but more Western RPGs, that type of stuff.
Yeah. Well, when you say first-person shooters, you grew up with them. Yeah. Like back in the day, the first-person shooters,
Western platformers and that type of stuff, and then Western cartoons such as Scooby-Doo.
I knew that was the first one you go to.
But yeah, so the how this podcast is going to work is that Tanner's going to focus on the more Eastern side of everything.
By the way, when I say East, I pretty much mean Japan. There's not much going to come out of Korea or Russia.
Unless something big happens.
Unless something big happens, it's pretty much Japan. I just don't want to say that. It's the idea of East versus West. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So, I think
we shall get into. Well, first off, we're going to do a quick. We are going to continue doing quick reviews of our weeks here on what we've been playing, what we've been watching and stuff. It won't take as much time.
No.
We're just going to do it quite quickly just to sort of establish where we're at in our media experiences
before we kind of dived into what we were playing and explained it, took our experiences.
A long time, which
sometimes
I did enjoy, but some people I heard weren't as into it, which is fair enough. I love when I listen to podcasts hearing people talk about their weeks, but I'll go into my week here, what I've been playing. So
before we actually get into that,
yes,
I want to explain what's going to be going on with this podcast.
Oh, go ahead, sure.
So if you didn't read, if you don't follow the Twitter, which is @ShipsW Podcast, Tanner uploaded it, a WordPress post.
Yep.
About what the podcast is all about.
That'll be linked in the description if you are on YouTube, and it will be in the description of the podcasts, otherwise probably at the bottom of every episode, so you'll get to read that.
So if you didn't read it, what we're going to do is, what Tanner said, we're going to go into our weeks, shortish, and then after that, we're going to go into the news, and the way we're doing it this time, instead of sometimes Tanner just talking about it the entire week, we're going to divvy it up to Eastern and Western news. Each story we're going to switch.
Yep.
So you Eastern, and then I'll talk about my story. Then after that, we're going to take a break in the middle. And then when we come back, we're going to come back with a brand new segment I personally named called Import.
Yes.
Did you want to explain what it is?
Essentially, we are going to each be picking a topic which will be in the title of the episode, and we will explain to each other why we think the other person should partake in this media of the other side of the world. Something that, you know, to really set the stage here, I avoid Western media pretty much. And you, for a while, until, then we met each other and, you know, we've slowly been getting...
anime, I still have, no idea.
For sure. But, and you pretty much don't play many, aside from, Nintendo and stuff.
Yeah.
You mostly stick to Western stuff, and especially growing up, for sure, that's where you were at. So we're gonna try and pitch to each other a thing, and as you can see in this episode's title, it will be Ace Attorney versus Better Call Saul. We're gonna try and make them similar so that there's some things we can talk about similarly. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, because let's be honest, some anime cannot be compared to anything in the West.
That Horse Girls anime.
Okay, Uma Musume is the best. Don't hate. I might give a week to talking about why that is pure and wholesome and wonderful. But that's about what we're going to be doing there.
Separate wise, if we have a big topic to talk about, that for example, we're going to be covering E3 next week and the week after and probably the week after. We're going to do a separate a separate podcast. You would say.
No, it's not a separate podcast. It's just a bonus episode.
Just a bonus episode. Which we're personally called Bonus Freight.
Yes, he came up with all the names and stuff, and I'm like, man, sometimes I wish I was that creative.
Yeah. I love doing this kind of stuff, creating content and just building stuff from the ground up. I really enjoyed putting together this podcast, so I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I enjoyed making it, and Tanner polishing it.
Yes.
So without further ado,
Let's get into quick reviews of our weeks and what we've done here. So
it's been a while.
So yeah, we're just going to stick to about a week here. We're not going to go into too much in depth. A couple games I've been playing. I played through and beat Bloodstained, Curse of the Night, the new...
Curse of the Moon.
Curse of the Moon, sorry. The other one is Ritual of the Night. That's the main game coming later. Curse of the Moon is the one that came out now. It's basically a new classic Castlevania, including the way that once you jump, your arc is set. You cannot move in midair. So if you miss a jump, you will flip around and you'll know you're dying because you can't move. It's wonderful. It's a great game.
I really want to check it out too.
I would recommend it for sure. Yeah, it's $10. And I got it for free because I backed the game. That's not the game that I backed. That was just...
An additional.
It was a stretch goal where if you bid or pledge $29 or more for the full game, you get that for free. So I'm like, yes. So that's really recommended. Jump back into Xenoblade Chronicles 2, mostly because I did this week's music to Smash 2 for the music, and I listened to the main counterattack theme. Have you listened to that yet?
Not yet. No.
Oh my god, dude. The music in that game is so good. The main, the song's just called Counterattack, but it's basically theme of anime hype, and it's so good. It goes so hard, and it key changes 3 times to get higher and higher, and it's so good. So I played that, I made that video, and I'm like, well, now I gotta play the game, and it took me about 3 hours to figure out where to even go again, because that game is, big.
What else?
What else did I do? I was going to go see Deadpool 2, and then I realized I was way too tired to go to the movie, so I didn't, which is a bit sad there. I've been watching this one show called Real Love, with love in brackets there, right? Real Love. It's a Netflix Japanese game show where 10 guys and 6 girls are put on an island together. 10 guys and 8 girls. And they have to, by the end of it, find love in 3 days.
Okay.
Here's the twist. And they go on dates. They have, meetings set up. They have, all these mixers made up. So they have to, by the end, have a person that they both mutually agree that they will leave the island together with as a couple. Here's the twist. Everyone comes to the island with a dark secret.
Oh, God.
A major thing that potentially ruined previous relationships. These are kept secret until the dark secret bell rings.
Oh, no.
And the hosts come out and announce it to everyone. It's some of it is like you're like, okay, like I mean you're probably not gonna watch this, and this is like I'm just gonna say a couple here. I'm not gonna say who, but like one of them is I was cheated on and got a divorce. In Japan, that's bad.
Okay.
Right? Like everyone looked at him with disgust. There may be a cross-dresser on the show.
Okay.
Who, like, for fun, cross-dresses.
Huh.
Which, again, not really super accepted. There's a lot of debt. There's a lot of, I am 1.5 million yen in debt.
Oh, Jesus.
So it's like they'll just randomly, when the time comes, they'll reveal the dark secrets, and this makes some people go, like, there's this one guy who's just like, that is the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. I was interested in this person, now I want to die. And then versus, there's some that they're like, who cares? I still like you. And, like, it's actually, like, really feel good for that. But the best part is it's Japanese, so the hosts are ruthless.
Oh, God.
They will insult everyone, like, incredibly. Like, it's so funny to just see the rawness of, like, some of the stuff that I don't think they could even say on TV there, but they do. Brutal. And it's so funny. And they don't care. They don't care at all. So I've been I'm dying because it's so funny. I've been really enjoying that. And that's pretty much about it. I mean, it's coming up to the end of the year for my teaching here, so I've been doing a lot of marking. So that's the rest of my spare time. All right.
Well, for me, I finished God of War.
Oh, yeah?
100%ed it.
Oh, so you beat up those bonus bosses?
I did.
Very nice.
Yep. Wasn't very easy, but
I've heard.
Other than that,
Wait, question.
What?
Did you get the...
Oh, no.
What?
Actually, no, I did. Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I didn't use it much, though.
Oh, yeah, because it's at the end of the game. Oh, you didn't see, but I was doing a thing where I was putting my hand over my hand like some type of glove. That's all I'm going to say.
Gauntlet.
Sure. I watched the video on what happens if you unlock its true potential. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, but just checking.
I finally started playing Hyrule Warriors for the third time.
For the third time, yes.
Yep.
I started a little bit of it, but there's nothing to say there. Other than going through Legends mode for now, probably my 5th time. I don't like the story of that game.
It's starting to wear on me.
It's the worst part of the game.
I'm liking the Wind Waker stuff in HD though.
I'm not even there yet.
I got there. I just got there.
I just beat the first mission with Ganondorf, and I'm like, okay, let's just finish this. I'm looking forward to doing the Wind Waker stuff though.
Yeah. Other than that, been getting back in Overwatch. For those who haven't listened before, I have a very
abusive relationship.
I have a very love-hate
It's
relationship
like,
with this game.
I've had enough. I'm leaving this house and taking everything with me. And then next week, baby, I've missed you so much. It's literally what it is.
It is.
It's like, oh, come back, honey. I got new skins. And you're like, oh, Overwatch, I forgive you for all the times you beat me.
I've kind of like paced myself with the game
Fair enough.
I take my daily walks outside.
That's what you do in online games. You don't sit there and play for a long time. You play for a bit, you lose, you walk away, then you come back and be refreshed.
Besides that, I did see Deadpool 2, and I do prefer it over the first one.
I've heard that. I've heard that for sure. I enjoyed the first one. I really enjoyed it, but I wouldn't say I loved it. Like it's on that fine line, but I've heard really good things about it. So I definitely want to see it if I ever have the time. Because it's like whenever I have time, I'm like usually too tired to go to the movies. And I'm like, oh, why can't we just rent movies to our houses yet? And I'm not doing illegal stuff by watching it online. People who recommend that, you have no morals. Shame.
Life-wise, I did apply for I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about this.
Oh.
Don't. I'm probably not. I'm probably over-exaggerating. I applied for a job as a Nintendo brand ambassador.
Oh, yeah. No, that's fine to talk about.
And I've talked to some friends. I got some good connections, and I have a pretty good chance.
Yeah, no, for sure. That was a job that I saw there, and I was wondering about for the summer. But, like, if I want to go on my trip, I'm just rather not get a job and worry about that than That's no.
I hope I get it. It'll be fun if I do.
And then you get to work with Fuad.
Yeah.
So that's dope. So it's wonderful when friends of different life strokes come together,
And that's about it for my week.
Alrighty.
Life.
Let's get right into the news. I nearly came started, and I had to hold back. It just about happened. It wasn't even voluntary. Like, it was just let's get, like, just the words "let's get" and "news" in my head just auto-corrected to right instead of right, and I'm like, that's the worst. Okay, so as we said, we're gonna go back and forth, east and west. It is not even, so eventually we'll get to a point where we might just just do one or the other. That's just how the news works if we're splitting it up this way. So I'll go first here. So Japan is getting a dockless Switch.
I did see this.
So it's $50 less, which is the price of a dock, pretty much. Which is like, all right.
Do you think this should come west? Do you think it's a good idea yet?
I don't think so.
No.
Because I think this will just cause complications with mums buying it and saying, like, oh, get the one that's $50 cheaper. And then the son is like, Ma'am, it doesn't even have the dock. We want this baby console. I want to play on my TV.
It's a bit of a, like, if you were to buy that and then a separate dock, it doesn't really, like, even out money-wise.
It doesn't.
You're only saving $50, whereas, like, the separate dock itself is, like, $110.
Not in Japan.
No?
Not in Japan. It works out to about the same in Japan.
Oh, okay.
It's also not in stores.
Oh, yeah.
It's exclusive through Nintendo's website, and the cool thing is, on Nintendo's website in Japan, when you're ordering your system, you actually get to pick what 2 Joy-Cons you want. You can pick any color combination.
Oh, that's cool.
So you get to pick and decide. So it's a neat thing for people in Japan, but because it is not a retail thing, and because in Japan it's so much easier to ship stuff out because you're only going to, like, the island there.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going far. There it's easy to get that shipped out and everything. In the West, it probably is just too much trouble until they come out with one that's, a boxed version of that, which I don't think they will.
This is a good method to get more Switches in houses.
Well, it's because in Japan, it's not called just like a Switch. It's called a second Switch kit.
Oh yeah, that's what they're advertising.
Yeah, they're advertising it as for people who already have a Switch dock
Yeah.
and want to just get a second Switch in their house. So yeah, and Japan uses it more for the portable. So as such, this works more for them. Where in the West, I mean, I never use mine. Almost never use mine in the dock. It's pretty much a charging station for me. It's charging and for videos. That's it for me, pretty much. But like, yeah, in Japan, it makes a lot more sense where they spend most of their day out and the Switch is used portably. I've heard many stories of people saying like, man, I sure love my Switch. Shame I'll never leave the house with it because it will get stolen from my hands because I live in the United States of America where everyone's apparently a criminal. Like, I've heard these stories. Like, I played my Switch on the bus. I played my Switch out here and it's fine.
Yeah.
And like, but like, some people are like,
I get iffy playing it in public.
really?
Yeah. Like, I don't like do it like straight in public, and maybe like if I'm at a friend's house waiting for him to come, I just like play it in the car or something.
Really? I've played it at food courts and malls. I played it.
I can't do that.
Really?
I don't trust the human race that much.
I don't know. I do. It's because I've never been in a situation where I've ever seen anything stolen off of people. Like, you see, like, you'll watch on TV and you'll see something get stolen, like, right in from someone's hands.
Yeah.
I've never seen that because, like, I don't know.
I have.
Really? Okay, well, that's why. Yeah, well, you live in Sketch Town, obviously. No, you don't. We live in whatever. Dumb joke. Doesn't make sense. People. Okay. You?
Me. Some Overwatch news right out the way. It did start last week.
Yeah, but it's fairly big, and we'll get that out of the way.
The new Overwatch anniversary event has begun for year 2. Mm-hmm. Happy birthday, Overwatch.
Yeah.
It was like, what?
It's almost able to walk.
With this event, it's cool because they are bringing back all the brawls from previous events.
Okay.
So, like, and they at the beginning of the week, they, like, released a schedule for, like, oh, this brawl is going to be this day. And, like, so you can, like, play the Halloween brawl on Tuesday, and then the next will be, like, the winter brawls and all that. And they're also bringing back all the skins from previous events as well.
Okay.
So, like, you can just buy them if you want. The 3,000 instead of, like, the 1,000 you would usually get if they were an older skin.
Yeah.
The new ones, though, Have you seen the new ones?
I've seen a few of them.
Have you seen Orisa's?
Yes.
That's like the one I need.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was okay. I think it's cool.
I like Doomfists as well.
Doomfist is great, yeah. Everyone in the cast needs a tuxedo.
Yes.
Especially the women.
Yes.
You agree there?
Not all of them.
Yes, all of them. But Zarya's has to have like the sleeves ripped off, so it's just like the tuxedo top and then like guns out.
Nah.
And shorts.
No. The ones I have so far are the Bastion Cyborg one.
Yes.
And Brigitta's bear.
Oh yeah.
Bridalsman. I don't know what it's called.
I know people hate tracers. I actually kind of like it.
I hate that new skin.
I actually kind of like it.
I hate being killed by Ellen. I'm sorry.
Ellen?
Yeah.
DeGeneres?
Yeah.
Okay. I can see where you're going with that. I can see. I don't hate it.
Besides that, the new deathmatch map has come out.
Oh yeah.
Called Petra. It's probably one of the best design maps in the game.
Nice.
Like the flow of like fighting each other.
And so wait, deathmatch is the one where you just kill each other, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like
Slayer.
right? Like it's not capture the flag, it's not zones, it's
Slayer.
Yes, it is.
Do you know what that is?
No, but it's still funny.
I'm making a Western reference.
Slayer.
It's Halo.
Oh,
Halo's like main mode where you just kill each other is
Slayer.
where you just fight. And
well, now I know.
And every time you start up the game, like literally, you go, like my friends and I, you'd start up the game, and every time it says the name of the game mode, like as soon as you get in, which is kind of cool. But like, you don't see like
Capture the flag.
or
Infection.
like it'd say one of those, right? Yeah. And it's like the deep voiced kind of muted announcer. But then yeah, every time you go into multiplayer and just have a deathmatch, it's
Slayer.
and so every time my friends and I would go and play Halo 2, every time the guy would go
Slayer.
we would also all together whisper under our breath as like 8 and 9-year-old kids.
Slayer.
So it's okay.
yeah. Besides that, there's a competitive deathmatch mode as well,
Okay.
which I finished my placements and got like diamond in.
Nice.
Yep.
I'd suck at that
it's
mode.
It's fun not relying on teammates and being a lone wolf.
See, I'm on the other hand because like my only form of winning in Overwatch comes from at least I have good people on my team because I can't aim for anything.
That's like the opposite of me. I'm like, why am I playing with these people every single match?
That's why I play Lucio, just so that I can have
Lucio,
whatever.
Lucio,
whatever.
Luscious Lucio.
It's because I say there I'm helping everyone just by being near you. Now win for me.
Speaking of Lucio, he got a new skin though. It's kind of.
I think I've seen it. It looks like one that
it's an
was
epic
already
skin, which is understandable. Why
Yeah.
it doesn't look amazing, but and then the other skin I got was this new soldier epic skin,
Okay.
the Venom.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, your turn.
All right. They've been previewing the new Star Allies update character, being Daroach from Kirby Squeak Squad, which is a really good game. In Star Allies, which is also a really good game. So this pretty much confirms the data mined leak of all the characters coming in the updates, which Daroach was like, I was pretty excited for. There's one character there I'm like, I'm not too excited for them. They're kind of a reskin, recolor. And then the last character I'm like, oh yes, finally! So that's going to be good.
Who's Daroach again?
He's like the mouse guy with the top hat. He's like the blue mouse with the red top
one.
hat.
Yes.
And yeah, so he looks like he uses kind of like a beam style mixed with a few original elements.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be interesting. The cool thing is every character also brings a few levels, because when you go and play through their story mode, because they each have a story mode too, like a story mode. It's pretty much just running through the same levels. But they replace stuff that only Kirby could have done with levels from their own games remade in HD.
Okay.
So like they bring new levels and stuff too, which is really cool. So that's gonna be fun. It's a free update too, so it's like you really
Is
can't
there like a
complain.
release date or
Nope.
no? Just coming.
Nope, and
when
it's gonna
ready?
come. Yeah, it's gonna be when it's ready. Like just to provide context for you, I don't know if you know this. The Xenoblade Chronicles 2 DLC is not done yet.
I like that. I like.
It's like the big update is in October.
Huh.
Like, it's still
it gives
coming.
you something to look forward to, though.
Well, that's what I did when I went back to Xenoblade there. I just, I bought the season pass just so that I get a few items to start off with. And then I'm like, oh, we'll see where we're at. And it's like, yeah, we got all these done, and it's just going to be like the big story season pass chunk is going to be in October there. So I'm like, okay, I got a bit to look forward to still.
Okay.
That's about it.
That's about it? Okay. My story next. Don't know much about this game, but Rage 2 got announced. Kind of unceremoniously.
Well, yeah, because Walmart leaked it,
Yeah.
and then the Rage Twitter changed all their pictures and stuff to just the leak on Walmart, and that's good. That's good marketing. I like that.
At first, when I saw the game, I was like, kind of looks okay. And then I saw the gameplay, which really reminds me of Bulletstorm.
Yeah, it's being worked on by
The same guys.
same guys, but also Eid
Eid?
Software.
You mean Eidos?
No, Eid.
Id.
Whatever.
Yeah, that's the guy who made Doom 2.
Yeah, that's why.
Doom
That's
as well.
yeah, Doom. Because the Doom team's working on it a bit
Yeah.
too, so that's cool.
I don't know many details on it. I just know it exists, and it looks okay.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. I already talked about Bloodstained, so I'm going to remove that. Okay. Blade Strangers. Sure is strange. Have
What
you?
are you doing?
I'm trying to delete that one piece of news because I already talked about. There we go.
There we go.
Blade Strangers. Have you been seeing stuff from this
I've
game?
seen stuff, but I haven't been paying
Okay,
attention.
so Blade Strangers is it was said to be at first a Switch exclusive fighting game, and now it's on PS3 or PS4, not PS3, PS4 and PC as well. It's getting a bunch of guest characters who are really surprising. The first one that was announced was Gunvolt from Azure Striker Gunvolt. That's cool. I like that. I like Inti Creates a lot. Talked about Bloodstained. After that, they announced Isaac from Binding of Isaac is
Yeah, I
in
saw
this
that.
is in a Japanese fighting game, and he looks unchanged from how he looks in his game, aside from being obviously a 3D model turned into sprites.
Yeah.
Then they announced Shovel Knight, who the whole time they were announcing
Yeah,
these characters,
how did you feel?
well, no, the whole time I was like, okay, we're getting all these indie guests. It's gotta be Shovel Knight. Like, he was in Gunvolt 2 as a boss. He's like in all these games, right? And lo and behold, it was. And he's big and hench. It's weird. It's a weird thing where they're putting in all these indie guest characters.
How does it look like it plays?
So it's looking pretty much like... Okay, so the one major thing is that it's a traditional fighting game, but it uses Smash Bros. Style inputs. So it's not, quarter circle forward attack. It's forward and B. Or up
So like
and
Smash?
B. Yeah, that's what I said. It's like Smash style controls. So that's obviously some people are like, I don't know about that. But apparently it plays really well, actually. It's fun. It's not going to be uber competitive. Like, it's not going to be on main stage at EVO. But it looks like a fun... just game to throw in. And that's what I love about fighting games. Even a mediocre fighting game, if it has interesting characters, whipping that out with friends is still interesting and fun, right? So I'm definitely looking forward to picking that up because it looks stupid and fun. So just, for example, there's like a 5-minute anime opening to this game. And like, you see Isaac and Shovel Knight in anime form in this trailer. It's weird, but really cool. It also has Characters from Cave Story, which is a little slightly less weird because that is at least from Japan. And then Umihara Kawase, which is like a Super Nintendo era platformer. So like, it's like, let's throw them all in there. And then Coda Princess is also in there. So like, that was like a 3DS brawler. So like, it's, when it says Blade Strangers, it really is just living up to the strange part of the name. So... all right.
So for this next story, I wanted to pull up the tweet. Apparently, do you know how to pronounce that name?
Takashi Mochizuki.
Yes, he tweeted that he said that the PS chief Kodera, PS4 is entering the final phase of its life cycle, which would have negative impact to the unit, but recurring revenue via membership services, etc., should cushion some of that. So the very idea of this console generation, or like the PS4 console generation wrapping up, is kind of came out of nowhere, honestly.
A little bit, but did you hear the update to this?
No.
They said, don't worry, it's got at least 3 years left.
Okay, that's good.
Which, when I heard 3 years, I'm like, you know what? I think in 3 years, that makes sense.
Yeah.
In 3 years for them to announce then the PS5 or whatever, and then then there's still the time, then it slowly goes down in 3 years, because I think that's a decent period of time.
I'm sure they're already working on the...
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Oh, literally, they're always working on what the next thing is.
Yeah, because if they were to, because right now they're in, their prime, so, to, be like, oh, done. And then we're going to move on.
It's definitely not going to be an immediate thing. Remember, the PS2 was still making games halfway through the PS4's life cycle.
Yeah. I'm just used to the long console cycles. PS3 lasted 8 years, 7 or 8.
Yes, but here's the question though: will the PS5 be backwards compatible?
I'd like to believe
because
so.
I think at this point
it needs to be.
It needs to be
yes.
with what the Xbox One has.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
I bet they're working on how to beat it.
Yeah,
some way
for sure. So in 3 years, 4 when you count actually waiting for the release of the console, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, when this first tweet came out, people were like, "I can't believe it! The PS4 is dead next week," and it's no, calm down.
Yeah, that's about it for that story.
All right. Killer 7 is getting a re-release. Do you know anything about Killer 7?
Never even heard the title.
Do you know who Suda51 is?
Yes.
Okay, so this was one of Suda51's kind of big games that got brought to the West. It's by Capcom, actually. And it's weird in a kind of Tarantino-esque way. And it's basically you play as one man split into 8 personas, so different versions of himself, including one that's a Mexican wrestler, one that's a woman, one that's a guy in a wheelchair, and you just it's kind of like it's a weird game. I don't even know, honestly. But this is a game that people have been wanting a re-release for a long time. Caveats. PC only right now, which is it's never been on PC, so I'll give it, but I'd like a console version. And it's being done by Nisa, which is a Japanese company there who doesn't have the best track record with PC ports. They've done some bad ones. They've kind of never done a good one. But people are saying at this point, the game is made. They're not working on it themselves. They're just porting. So it'll have to be, we'll see how it goes. But that's one that I do hope comes to console as well. Okay. You?
Another PS4 story.
Yes. Which we know are Japanese.
Yes.
But we're putting it with
even
you,
it out.
To even it out a bit, and plus that applies to you just as much.
Yeah.
So.
Do you know the company, not Sony themselves, but a company is releasing a Elite-style controller for the PS4.
Well, it's officially licensed. It's Sony official, but it's not being made by Sony. I don't know the company, though.
I saw it
Was it Nyko or...
No.
Is it one of the big companies?
I think it starts with an R.
Is it
Remu or something?
Oh, yeah, okay, no, I know which one you're talking about. I don't know what the name is, but no, it's one of those controller companies, though.
$200.
It is, yes, but
it's extremely customizable.
And have you seen the side-by-side comparison on what it looks like compared to a Xbox One controller?
No.
It's basically an Xbox One controller, which people have been wanting for a long time. So the ability to just have basically an Xbox One controller on PS4 officially is that's enough to make some people shell out $200. Because say they play almost exclusively on Xbox, and then they get a PS4 for God of War, right?
Yeah.
They don't want to probably have to relearn a whole controller. I mean, aside from the button prompts, but yeah.
But yeah, that's about it for that.
All right, back to Japan. Sega has announced that they are releasing... Okay, so we have, on PS4, Yakuza 0, Yakuza Kiwami, which is a remake of 1, Yakuza Kiwami 2, which is a remake of 2, Yakuza 6, which is the last game in the series, and they said, you know what, we have that kind of space in the middle, 3 through 5, what are we going to do? Oh yeah, let's just put them all on the PS4, so you can play through essentially the entire mainline series of Yakuza on PS4. Those games are already like 200-hour-long games. Please stop, Sega. I still haven't beat Yakuza Kiwami, and that's the shortest one. Please. But this makes people happy. The Yakuza brand manager for the West was like, I woke up to 1 million tweets. I guess we gotta do something, huh? So it's probably coming out to the West here. They are just ports. They have no new content. Okay. They're just gonna be up-res to widescreen in HD. They were PS3 games. So 1 and 2 were PS2 games. So those needed to be remade. Mm-hmm. Like, those games were old. 3 through upwards, those are PS3 games. So they are new enough that they don't need any changes. They just added... making it look nice.
Okay.
But like, yeah, there's a lot there. Oh, and Yakuza 7's on the way. So it's like, oh, and not to mention Yakuza Fist of the North Star. Please.
What about Kiwami 2?
Kiwami 2's, well, I said that.
I thought you only said the first one.
No, I said Yakuza 0, Yakuza Kiwami, Yakuza Kiwami 2. Because like, yeah, it's like, there's so many. They're great games, but oh my god, please stop. But they're a huge cash cow in Japan. So...
It's understandable.
Fun fact about Yakuza 1 on PS2. It had an English dub, unlike any of the other games, and Mark Hamill voiced Majima.
Oh, really?
And he did the Joker voice. And it's the best part of the game. When tweeted to on Twitter about his role on it, he said, I don't remember working on that. Who is that? So, it's a bit sad, but that was it's a fun fact. Okay.
Some more controller news.
Yes.
Xbox has announced the accessible controller.
Yes. Have you seen that? Have you seen how it works?
I kind of like a lot. You can like really like plug in a lot of stuff into it.
It's pretty much like a huge. You can make a controller out of anything and for anything.
Yeah.
Because it's just plugging in stuff to it, and you can place them wherever. So like for any
Have
sort
you
of
watched the video?
Yes.
Yes, I watched
for
it,
any
yeah.
sort of disability there, it's outstanding. Yeah, it's really cool.
I don't like Xbox that much, but like the
no,
stuff
for
that
sure,
they're
it's
doing
wonderful.
with like this kind of stuff, it's like really impressive. And the Duke, you just shoved this in there.
Okay, but I just have to say, do you know what the Duke is?
I do.
Yeah, so it's the original Xbox controller, which is so gigantic it's nearly unplayable to use it. I just find it funny that they're releasing the Duke, which is the least accessible controller on a mainstream console ever, because it's the worst, hugest piece of plastic. They're re-releasing it for Xbox One, as well as the accessible controller, which is the entire opposite end of we can make it work for whatever. Yeah, the Duke. Why did they bring back the Duke? Why? Nobody asked for that. Well, okay, a few people did, but those people are weird and have massive hands.
Honor the Giant.
Pretty much. You have to be Andre the Giant sized to use it. It's a bad controller. Alright, this is kind of Western news, but it's dealing with Eastern stuff. The company Saban is no more. Do you know anything about Saban?
Kind of. Was it about like Power Rangers?
Yes.
Yes.
So Saban is the company that brought Power Rangers to the West they brought Super Sentai, which is a Japanese TV show, to the West by taking the fight scenes out of Super Sentai and then adding in scenes of American teenagers being American around the fight scenes.
Oh, okay.
Which, once you know that, watching Power Rangers is amazing because you get to see when the camera changes and it's in Japan. Like, the quality of the camera changes. It's amazing. The company, so Power Rangers was sold off to Hasbro, which is for the best, honestly. And the company itself is now no more. They also brought over Digimon, so like they're a huge part of my childhood. And they've done a good number of things in like the 90s there that were really good. Cut to the early 2000s, they kind of gave it to other companies and were doing more just distribution of stuff. Then, end of the 2000s, early 2010s, they're back in control and they're like, okay, we get Power Rangers again, we're going to try it again. And everything that they did was terrible. Like, original Power Rangers is dumb, but it's at least like dumb fun. The new stuff that they made was bad and like universally panned. Mm-hmm. It was just like the old Power Rangers, adults could watch and get a kick out of it, especially when you get to like the more serious stuff like Lost in Space or Lost Galaxy or In Space and stuff like that. Stuff that adults could watch and get a serious drama out of, which is funny to say about Power Rangers, but it's true. Like, it was at a point where adults could really enjoy it, much like Super Sentai in Japan, where it's like, even though it's for kids, adults could enjoy it. They brought it back in the 2010s as, what they're trying to do, and it was just kiddie, horrible stuff, right?
Oh.
So their stuff kind of super died. And so they gave Power Rangers to Hasbro, and now they're no more. So it is a part of my childhood going away, and I would be a little sad, but everything they've done in recent years has been terrible, including suing Final Fantasy 15 for the original Magitech suits being colored like Power Rangers. They sued them, and that's why they're all just black now, because they said that it was infringing on Power Rangers. There was a game called Chroma Squad, which was like manage your own live action superhero studio. They had to rename the game to Chroma Squad, as inspired by Haim Saban's Power Rangers. That's the full title of the game now, because they sued. So yeah, in recent years, they've been crappy, hence them going away. I'm like, rip, you tried, because they kind of sucked in the end. It is still a part of my childhood, the stuff they did early on. Still, I enjoy. But yeah, their new stuff sucks, so bye.
Okay. Now let's go back on the western side and let's start talking about them shooters.
Ooh.
Recently...
No, you have to say what I wrote. You have to say what I wrote.
Bettofed Five.
Bettofed Five. Let's talk Bettofed Five.
It looks like...
hot garbage?
Yes.
It does? Okay, no, I was guessing. I heard people say the actual game looks alright.
It looks just... it looks the same as like... it honestly looks
every
the same
other
as
shooter?
Battlefield like 3 and 4. But like it's from World War II. And everyone like has these crazy arms now. Have you seen it? Have you seen like anything?
I've seen people complaining on the internet.
The Venom snake?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
It's just...
I don't know.
Actually, yeah, that's... I want them to like move the shooters in more of a goofy
Yeah,
thing.
for sure. We have enough serious shooters,
Yeah.
I feel.
Which I like. I didn't really enjoy Call of Duty going back to World War II. Because it's like...
Did that game come out?
It did last
I don't know.
November.
I don't know. Like, it's literally to a point where I'm like, what's the newest one? Did they do Future Warfare 4 yet? Is that happened?
No, the latest one is World War II.
Was there a Call of Duty 1?
Yes, it was called Call of Duty.
No, I mean, like, you know how Battlefield had Battlefield 1?
No, there's...
Okay, was there a Battlefield 2 called like the sequel to Battlefield 1 called Battlefield 2? Did that happen, or was that a dream?
That was a dream.
Okay, because I thought that happened.
It goes Battlefield 1942, Battlefield Bad Company 2, Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, Battlefield 1, and now Battlefield 5.
Like, honestly, and like, this is not even me joking, I find the way they release those games a million times more confusing than like Kingdom Hearts. Like, people give Kingdom Hearts crap, but like, I know when 358 Days Over 2 was released. Like, I know where that fits in the timeline. I know when that happened.
Yeah.
Because it's such an absurd title. But when you have such minimalist titles, or titles that just jump around, like Black Ops and Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3 are like years apart with games between them, right? So, like, I don't know. Like, I get so mad thinking about these games, because I don't even, like, did Future Warfare, was there a Future Warfare 2?
No, Modern Warfare.
No, there was a Future Warfare.
There wasn't anything called
Was
Future.
there Infinite Future Warfare?
Advanced Warfare and Infinite Warfare.
Okay. Which was the one in the future?
Like, far future or near future?
I hate these games.
There's two games like that.
I'm so mad.
Modern is advanced and future is infinite.
Okay. I'm probably thinking Infinite.
Infinite was the one before World War II. The one that everyone didn't like because Battlefield 1 happened. And they decided to stick in the future. But now they went back to World War II. And now Battlefield's going back to the future. No, never mind. They're going to World War II. But it seems like the future because of like the graphics and
Well, no, but it's like alternate
style.
World War II, kind of.
Kind of.
It's like slightly steampunk, which I think is cool.
Another thing that there's not going to be like a premium pass. All the maps and DLC are going to be free. But that just makes me think, how are they going to screw us over this time though? Like, they gotta. Like, it's like...
Well, there's already loot boxes.
Oh yeah.
There's already, they said pre-order now and get like 20 drop kits or something, and I'm like, And so there's the thing where it's like, yeah, we do. They said in an interview we don't have loot boxes, and then it says, oh, but you pre-order now for 20 drop boxes, and it's like, you're just not calling them loot boxes, but they're loot boxes.
Okay, your turn. Let's go back to Japan.
Yes. Power Rangers had a crossover with Street Fighter, and it was heckin' rad, but it was only on mobile games, and then I was sad. It's pretty... Basically, there's a Power Rangers fighting game on phones, and Capcom just literally, and it's the weirdest thing, drag and dropped characters from Street Fighter V into it, looking... like they're ripped from entirely different games and using different movesets. Like, it's weird because the Street Fighter V character, like, if you see a character from something and something else, like, you can, like, for example, if you see Ryu in Smash Bros., he looks different from the Ryu in, like, Street Fighter V. Like, there's a different art style going on there, right? This is literally dragging the models and animations from Street Fighter V into the mobile game, and it's weird and kind of cool. Funny thing is, like, they actually... So they put in, like, a good number of characters, like, I think 7 of them, right? They put in Cammy, but because Power Rangers is for kids, they had to give her an alternate outfit because can't have her butt just out there for the kids, right? So they gave her like one of her alternate kind of more military-esque ones, which, I mean, sure. But it's weird. It's awesome, but it's weird, and I just wish it was put on like a console thing. But it's like one of those gacha style ones where it's more about the stats and the roles than the actual gameplay.
Oh, okay.
So it's a bit disappointing, but still, when I saw that, I'm like, that's heckin' rad.
All right, back to the West and back to shooter territory.
Speaking of Call of Duty, Future Infinite Warfare Zombies Zero.
I don't know how earlier before Battlefield 5, but COD Black Ops 4 has been announced.
No. Call of Duty Black Ops III.
It's telemarks.
I hate it! Apparently it is a proper way you can actually like use Roman numerals for just the number 4, because there's no other way that you can confuse it for another number. So, fine.
Wow.
No, this is Call of Duty, not WoW.
No. This game looks bad.
Oh, this one looks even worse?
Yeah, oh my god.
Wow,
No single player.
Oh, yeah, right. This one is the one with no single player.
If you were to put the footage of 4 intermixed with 3, you wouldn't see a difference. At all.
Yeah?
Like... I'm writing something for my blog, but talking about this.
But this has the Battle Royale.
I'd rather have a single-player mode with, like, narrative focus.
You can't charge loot boxes for a single-player mode.
Right.
You can't... Stupid!
The cool thing is about the Battle Royale mode is that they're bringing, like, characters from the zombies and from, like, the campaigns.
One thing that I did hear, which I think is interesting, is the map is just going to be a combination of older maps from all the other Call of Duties,
plus the zombies maps,
which I think is really interesting for a way to do a map, is make one Uber map with all them. I think that's interesting. It could also be hot garbage.
Yes,
where
they revealed it, but they didn't show it. You know.
Okay.
Said, it's happening, but here's like a cinematic trailer.
They could also be super wrong, and like it's not. It might have like one scene from one and then like bits of another. Yeah, so it's
and there's going to be vehicles you can drive too, obviously.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I wish they would just sell the Battle Royale mode by itself, because that's the only part I'm like 10% interested in.
Well, people have been asking for that, where just sell the mode I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Sell the online, sell the zombies, or sell the Battle Royale, right?
Yeah.
Like pick one of those.
But
no, you
Activision
got to pay $90 for 1/3 of what you want.
Yes.
So
good news. That is it for the shooting.
Yes, we're done with shoot games.
First person shooter.
No
game.
more shoot games.
Now you.
Cody, He's being, you probably right away after this podcast, we're probably going to watch the trailer. He's been announced for a long time, but he's going to have his first gameplay trailer for Street Fighter V. And normally for veterans, you're like, when it's like, for example, like, the Soul Calibur veterans, every time I see a trailer, I'm like, I don't even have to watch this. I know how Ivy plays. I know how Voldo, Voldo will be weird. I know how Yoshimitsu plays, right? I will know how these characters work. But the thing with Street Fighter V is, the system is so different, and story-wise, there's reasons why Cody is going to be different. For one, you don't know anything about Cody.
I know that he's a bad boy and he's in jail.
Okay, but do you know why he's in jail?
No.
Do you know that he's not a Street Fighter character?
No.
He is from Final Fight, the same game that Mike Hagar is from.
Oh, okay.
So Final Fight is actually a spin-off of Street Fighter. Where originally it was called like Street Fighter 1982 or whatever. Like it was meant to be the sequel to the original Street Fighter until they realized this is so different. We're not going to make this like the Street Fighter sequel. We're going to make a different game, right? Yeah. But then years later they decided, no, we can just put them together anyways. And so so Final Fight is a beat 'em up spin-off of Street Fighter. So the Abigail from Street Fighter V, he's a boss from Final Fight.
Okay.
He's not a Street Fighter character. He was just a stage boss from Final Fight. So he's only been in Street Fighter as a prisoner, as someone who is wearing like the black and white striped outfit and handcuffs.
Yeah.
So, but he wears the handcuffs for a reason. He can break out of them at any time. Cody is the strongest, and when I use this term, I'm using it literally, street fighter. As in someone who just goes on the street and beats people up. He literally went to jail because, so the events of Final Fight are Cody has to go save Mike Hagar's daughter. So what does he do? He walks through Metro City, beating up everyone in his way. It's a beat 'em up, right? So everyone you see there is someone you beat up. Literally, after the events of Final Fight, Hagar's like, all right, Cody, good job. Like, thanks for saving my daughter. Let's go home and, be a good family together. Oh, I think my daughter has her eye on you. And then Cody's like, no, I want to keep beating people up. And Hagar's like, wait, man, as the mayor, I don't know if I can condone that. Like, we were on a mission before, and like, I'm a wrestler. I know, I get it. But let's just maybe not. And so literally, Cody is like, no, I'm not going to stop till I beat up everyone in this city because I love fighting. And so he's like the strongest. Okay. So what does he do? He wears the handcuffs because otherwise he could probably one-shot everyone in Street Fighter.
What do the handcuffs do?
They hold him back. He can't.
Oh,
they hold him back.
Like broken.
Oh. No, they're not broken. They're together, and he can break. Whenever he breaks them, he goes and gets another pair. Because that's the only way he can limit himself.
Oh my god.
So, that's been in Alpha and a Street Fighter 4. So we've had Jailbird Cody for only in the fighting games, right? Cut forward. Now it's Street Fighter 5. Few things. One, he's out of jail. Out. Like, not I've broken out of jail and like I'm on the run. No, he's finished his time.
Yeah.
He's out of jail. 2, he's now the mayor of Metro City. He's the mayor... No. Of like that Street Fighter Twitter has put up a letter from Hagar to Cody saying like it's a good thing that jail has rehabilitated you and you're an upstanding citizen now, and I understand that there will be times where you'll have to get your hands dirty, but let's try and reel it in, okay? So it's looking like his moveset in the Street Fighter games, whenever you pick him, it spawns a knife in the middle of the field. That only Cody can pick up and use. So it actually changes the Street Fighter game so that it changes into like a beat 'em up with items and stuff. Huh. So we're thinking he might not use the knife. Or one of his V triggers, so when you pop the V trigger, it changes like your mode. Yeah. We're thinking then he might have to use the knife. Okay. But for example, all of his attacks, like he has an attack called Criminal Upper or Ruffian Kick. So like we're thinking, is he gonna have like Political Upper or like just so like, because now that he's the mayor and he has his hair slicked back, he's wearing a suit. They revealed one of his costumes. It is him wearing Mike Hagar's like like strap and pants,
okay.
but they're way too big, so you see his underwear, and it's like the most fan servicey thing for girls ever. So hey, they're getting some. But like we got to see what he's gonna be like, right? And I do hope he brings a stage too, because this is a crossover character.
Yeah,
this is a character who is from a different game series and makes the game play differently. So he's gonna be really interesting. I'm excited to see what he's like. I'm sure, like I said, after this, we'll watch the trailer and see him, and he's gonna be. Also, his theme's awesome. It's like it's turn the beat back, and then it's like it plays this awesome song. So he's awesome. Cody's awesome. Can't wait.
Okay.
And then last bit of news for you.
This isn't video game related. It is a Marvel Cinematic Universe related.
Yes.
I'm surprised you didn't hear about this.
I might have heard about it, but like I have no outlets where I get movie news from, really.
So rumors are reporting, solid rumors, that Jake Gyllenhaal will be taking the helm as Mysterio.
I've heard this one. Yes, I have heard
He's
this.
going to be playing Mysterio in the MCU.
Question. Fishbowl, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, you had no hesitation. Good.
Like, 100% we need the fishbowl.
We need the fishbowl. I hope it starts off with him not having the fishbowl, and then he's like, this is stupid, and he puts on the fishbowl. Like the opposite of what some people want. Some people want him to be like a super serious sorcerer guy.
No.
And I'm like, no way.
No, make him like, don't make him too goofy, but make him like...
I'd be down for, in Homecoming.
But this is like main villain material. We can't like have like...
Vulture was pretty goofy.
Not really.
He was like, well, when I say goofy, I mean not afraid to have a joke moment, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
but he also needs to be intimidating.
Yeah, no, you can be intimidating and goofy,
I guess. Who do you think is going to be like the shocker of Homecoming 2?
Okay, I'm looking through the Rogues gallery right now. Kraven's too big.
Rhino?
Rhino could never be a big villain. So it could be Rhino. I could even see like Electro.
But I think they want to take. I think they're like wanting to take villains that haven't been done yet, until they can't. You know.
I don't know any. Like, I mean, if we're not,
there's a Chameleon.
Wait, Chameleon's different from Scorpion.
Yes.
Oh, the Scorpion.
Oh yeah, Scorpion.
Yeah, he's in that already.
Yeah,
there you go.
So, like, and it's actual. I don't know how they like do his suit though.
Robot.
But like Chitauri tech robot.
No, it's just a robot. I don't know. There's always stuff that they could do where it's like, I found this weird Asgardian thing that fell to Earth, and just stick it on my butt, and I'm a Scorpion.
Or maybe like...
and then Peter Parker's like, dude, it's cool. I stick stuff on my butt all the time.
Mysterio will give Scorpion like a sort of like prop.
Yeah, okay, I could see that.
Thing. On the lesser side, they're looking for a new female and male lead. As in like...
Okay.
So people are saying like Gwen Stacy, Harry Osborn, that type of stuff.
Oh, Harry Osborn's not in Homecoming.
No, he's not.
Wow, I didn't even realize. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just watched the original first two movies last night. I'm like, we need Harry.
Oh my god. Okay, so there's some moments in Spider-Man 1 which are so hilarious nowadays. Like, there's the one moment where he's like doodling something, and then there's like the car slowly fades in.
Those transitions.
The transitions are so hilarious.
So good.
Oh man, that movie's amazing.
The second one is like, I think that train fight is still like the
the train fight's really good, but I'd say as time's gone on, I think Spider-Man 2 has gotten a bit more bland.
I don't think so.
I think so. Probably because it's always on TV, so I always turn to it, so I know the movie beat for beat. It's like Spider-Man 3, I don't know it as much, so it's a little fresher for me. And I will never stop laughing at Emo Peter. It's the best. It's the best.
So it's going to be weird, not weird, but like it's going to be quite a shock going from God with reality stones.
Well, let's watch what we say
to
here.
Fighting.
Let's watch what we say.
To Mysterio.
For sure.
With
sure.
Guy, theater man.
We'll see. We'll see what happens there, because it is going to be interesting. That's all we'll say.
Yeah.
Is that it for that?
That's it for that.
All right, the final bit of news.
So this actually like lined up for us.
Yeah, it actually, because I deleted the one and it worked out. So in Japan, they announced a new Pokemon manga, but it's not about Pokemon. It's actually about the creator of Pokemon, Satoshi Tajiri's life, and going from his childhood collecting bugs to working at the magazine company called Game Freak to them making a game.
Huh.
And
that's going to be a manga.
Well, it's an autobiography.
Oh.
So it's a book, right?
Oh, okay.
But it's like it covers his life, and you read through his life there. The really interesting thing about it is they actually got some old concept art for the Pokemon that have never been seen before. So you look through and there's pages of them planning the original Pokemon, and there's ones on there that were scrapped and we've never seen. So like Pokemon that were supposed to be in the original 151 that we've never seen that were going to be a thing. It's like there was like it looked like a deer with like razor blades instead of antlers, like kind of like a bug antler type thing.
Yeah.
There was a sawtooth shark Pokemon, which like that's so cool. Why is there not a shark? There's no shark Pokemon. No, there's Sharpedo. What am I saying?
Yeah.
But like I guess Mega Sharpedo's like a saw, but like this was like a normal Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
There's one that looked like Kirby. Like, it looked like, for the people who know, it looked like the final boss of Star Allies. You don't know what that looks like. No. But it looks like it looked literally like a floating Kirby head.
Huh.
So that was, and that's, it's really interesting. It's like, there's all these unreleased ones. There's ones that are like, and it's all pixelated, so you can't really, there's like, not the art, but the pixel art.
Okay.
So, like, you can't even tell what some of them are, because it's at, like, angles and stuff. But it's really interesting, and I really do hope that, it gets brought to the West, because I think it's really interesting, like, the idea of his, like, all the things that influenced him to make Pokemon and the process of making it. And, like, so there's, like, you get to see his meeting with, like, Miyamoto and Iwata.
Interesting.
Like, you get to see him meeting that. And, like, they're, you know, it's drawn in manga form, but, like, it looks like them, and it's really interesting.
What's it called?
It's called, like, Satoshi Tajiri's Pokemon or something.
Oh,
okay.
Like
it's apparently part of a large series which is about the lives of important Japanese people done in manga form, and he's like the next one, right? So it's really interesting, and I really do hope it comes out. There's this one guy I follow on Twitter who I would have never imagined existed. There is a English speaking, like, just normal white dude working at Game Freak.
Huh.
And, like, yeah, his name's James Turner. He's from America, and he designed a whole bunch of newer Pokemon. So, like, he's just he's not one of the original Pokemon guys from Japan. He's a guy from the West who moved over there and, like, is now a Pokemon designer.
Okay.
He made, like, Golett and Golurk. He made the Ice Cream Pokemon. He made a bunch of the Ultra Beasts. And so it's really interesting. He talks about the design process of making Pokemon, which is like something that I never would have thought about, right? Because it's always been, it's just over in Japan there, they make it. But, like, he talks about it. And he talks about, I'm buying figures of the characters who I made. And I'm like, that's so weird. So he's been tweeting about it a lot. He's really interesting. I do recommend following him on Twitter there. So, yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And all right, we're going to call it a break. I need a drink of water.
Okay.
As we normally do. And we will be moving on to the second section, Import, where we'll be discussing Ace Attorney and Better Call Saul to each other to convince each other. And hopefully one of you who are listening. So we'll see you in a sec, guys.
See you then.
Ciao.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn the beat back. Turn the beat.
And we're back. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the import section,
Yes.
where we will again be talking about two different but similar-ish shows that we have sometimes that we are going to be pitching to each other as well as to the audience here. So I have picked the Ace Attorney series, meaning the video games, the manga, as well as the anime, kind of everything, the entire series. And you have picked
Better Call Saul, the spin-off show from Breaking Bad, all about the extraordinary life of Saul Goodman and how he rose to power.
I knew it was a spin-off of Breaking Bad. I knew that much. So
And that's it.
yeah, let's get started with you then, I think. Because then you already started explaining it.
Okay, well, it is a...
So, okay, I guess we should say, the way we're going to be doing this is we are going to be breaking down all the best parts of it, why we enjoy it, and then, so the good. Then we are going to talk about a few of the caveats to make sure we're not leaving stuff out that maybe we're okay with but might be deal breakers for other people, because you got to address everything as flaws.
Yes.
Everything is problems, so we got to address that. And then finally we're going to talk about whatever interesting things we can also add to it to make people maybe more interested. Just interesting could be good, bad, or whatever, in just weird or interesting things.
Yes.
So, okay. Get started.
Before we get started, I
Yes.
just want to inform you my describing skills aren't nearly as good as Tanner's, so I won't be as fleshed out as he will be.
Fair enough. You'll get there, bud. It only takes 7 years on YouTube.
So it is a spin-off show, as I said, from Breaking Bad, and it's all about Jimmy McGill. That's his name before he was Saul Goodman.
Wait, Saul Goodman's not his real name?
No.
Oh, okay. Big twist right from the start. Got me, okay.
It is like... those prequel shows, you know what's going to happen to the character.
Oh, so it is a prequel show.
It is, yeah.
Okay.
It takes place. It actually takes place before, during, and after Breaking Bad.
Huh.
Yes.
Okay.
So the beginning of each season, the very first episode of each season so far, it's done like a flash forward after Breaking Bad, where the character is, and then what happens then relates back to the rest of the season.
Okay.
Like it's kind of like a foreshadowing, but not really. So the first season was all about like getting his own law. No, that was the second season. The first season was working with his brother. He had a brother named Chuck McGill. He's the kind of like, there isn't really an antagonist in the show, but if there was one, it would be his brother.
Okay. I mean, you could just say it's society.
Yes, that too.
I mean, okay, so I think we should start off with just explain to me what the show is about first, because that, like, just from the
It's a courtroom drama type thing.
Okay.
But it's also it's about like the character development, like between all these, like it's one of the, I'm just going to go into the good here.
Okay.
It's one of the most like character dramas I've ever seen.
Like development wise, like the
Yes.
best. Okay.
Yeah. The way characters play off each other and all that is just like insanely quality.
So do the actual court cases matter as much?
I think the later half of the first season deals with a court case that also personally affects Chuck's and Jimmy's relationship. The whole like emotional core of the show is surrounded around Jimmy and Chuck.
Okay.
And what happens like around them and how that affects, because Chuck hates Jimmy because Jimmy is kind of like a not a con man, but like he weasels up the judicial system in a unethical way.
I mean, he's a lawyer. Is there an ethical way? Heyo. Okay.
Where Chuck he's a very straight man, and he earned his way to where he is now.
Okay.
Yeah. So like to put into context, Jimmy in the beginning of the show is working in the back of a salon, and that's where his office is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does he get free haircuts?
No, but he gets free lemon tea. No, lemon water, sorry.
Oh, I was going to say lemon tea, nice. Lemon water? Oh, gross. I wouldn't take water from a salon. There's hair in it.
I think we should do summaries and then, you do your summary on yours.
Okay,
and
fair enough. And then we'll go... Yeah. Okay. So, Ace Attorney is a series by Capcom dealing with the life and times of a Mr. Phoenix Wright, or if you're in Japan or watching the anime, Naruhodo Ryuichi, which literally means in Japan, yes, I see, Phoenix. Dragon. Ryuichi's dragon, yes. So it's about a lawyer who is brand new, just passed the bar test, and he's working as an apprentice to another lawyer who you've played up to where in it?
Even if I knew, it's been so long.
Okay. Well, I think this is fair to say. So after his first case, which he is, mentored by his mentor, Mia Fey, he goes to work the next day to find his boss has been killed. Yes. That's right away, so it's like, it's not that big of a spoiler. And it's essentially him, after his mentor's been killed, he decides, you know what, I'm going to defend, because the mentor's sister is there, Maya Fey, and she gets framed for the murder, even though it's pretty clear who did it. And so he has to, despite being a brand new guy at being a lawyer, defend her, as well as, make his own name in the lawyering world. The big difference between Ace Attorney and a lot of other courtroom media is right away who the actual bad guy killer is. You are told who the killer is. You get to see the crime happen first. The difference is, okay, you know who it is.
How do you prove it?
How do you prove it? So you need to work towards getting these really eccentric characters to be jailed. An interesting thing to note is Phoenix is a defense lawyer, so he is the one trying to defend a client, trying to prove that, no, it wasn't me, it was someone else. Which, you might think, okay, if you just have evidence to prove why your client isn't guilty. This takes place in what's like to be called Japanifornia. So even though it says it's in California, it's pretty clearly in Japan. They kind of did the thing where they say it's in America, but it's really in Japan, which they then end up writing around later, where they say, because World War II happened differently, Japan settled into America. That's why California is New Japan, essentially. So they wrote around it in a stupidly awesome way. But essentially, in Japan, it is guilty until proven innocent. And even if you prove that your client is innocent, if you can't prove someone else did it, your client still goes to jail. Even if you prove that your client didn't do it, right? So it's very much based on the Japanese law system, where defense lawyers are, they're not known for winning per se. And so it's very much an uphill battle against the system of the law. And as the series goes on, and I love when media does this, time does go forward. Characters age. Laws change. Systems change. So as it goes forward, you get to see the cracks made through villains actually affecting the court, and them saying, okay, we need to change how this is done, and them trying new ways of doing the court. So it's really interesting in that way, where you get to see, as the series goes on, multiple ways of how the court could work. So that's about the summary of the series for me.
Okay. Decent. You want to dive into the good?
Okay. So the good. So this game is, gameplay-wise, it's pretty... I've heard people say it's not right to call it a visual novel, but it is pretty much a visual novel. So you're in for a not really a brain-turning experience, but just a fun, like, novel ride, if you will. You're in it for the story more than the gameplay. And the story is full of characters that are just so fun. You really want to get to know them. They all have crazy quirks. The sprite work, because these were originally, the first three were originally Game Boy Advance games in Japan, and then brought to the DS later, and now they're on the 3DS, and they're going to be on the Switch later, so it's like, these games get ported a lot.
Yeah.
Which is good. The characters have so much loving touches put in them. They're so cartoony and weird. When a character gets angry, they might, like, chug a beer or something, or they might, like, set themselves on fire. Like, it's super exaggerated, right? But at the same time, they're still characters that you can sympathize with. They're characters who are fun and funny, which makes me happy. There is some dark stuff to it, too. Like, in terms of the general tone, I'd say generally the series is like, anyone, even though it's rated like teen, it's, cause there's blood, right? But it's a game that I would say is totally awesome for anyone, right? Like, it's, if you are interested in courtroom stuff, but you don't want to get into the heavy stuff, I think this is a really great place to start, for sure. It got me into wanting to be a lawyer as a kid, because I thought it'd be like that. Then I learned you can't scream objection in a courtroom like that, and it got really sad. It does, though, get dark. There was a game that was rated M in the series, the first 3DS one, and when I played it, like, for 90% of it, you're like, why is this game rated M? That's weird. And then you get to one of the cases there where you're like, oh, that's why. And it's not even anything that's shown. It's something that's implied.
Oh.
And it's such an image that in my head, I was like, oh, God. So it was, and it gets emotions out of you, which I love. Like, it's such a series that when you sit down and play it, you're going to laugh. You might cry. It made me cry a couple times. There's one musical theme in the game that makes me cry, and that's Turnabout Sisters, which is the theme of the two sisters, Mia and Maya Fey. That one makes me want to cry because it's just like, it just reminds me of good times, right? Yeah. And it's just because of how the universe is kind of set up, and it's just like court cases that are as a character doing them. You get, for example, in the manga, just completely original court cases that are just solved through you reading it instead of you playing it, right? The anime is a straightforward adaptation, but even then, it's the same court cases, but they're solved differently. They find different evidence and go about them differently, which I've heard some people say, well, that doesn't make sense because you're supposed to be following the game. And I'm like, what? This makes it way more interesting where they didn't find the one piece of crucial evidence and they found another one. So how are they going to solve it now, right? So I think that's so cool. And you can work along. I mean, in the game, you're obviously actually playing along with it. But in all the other forms of media, including the live action movie, you're able to just, go along with the ride with them. Okay. And I really enjoy that. The live action movie is insane, by the way. It's crazy. I can't believe it was, and it's like grimdark, which is like, but still weird and fun, but like it's dark looking.
Okay.
It's really interesting, but no, I really like it. Okay.
All right. So the good about Better Call Saul is, I just want to say this off the bat. I think I prefer it over Breaking Bad.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
The cinematography is like some of the best I've seen in the show. Just like the way the shots are. Like, I'm not much of a film person, but this show makes you want to be.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Like,
yeah. Another thing is the way they set the tone for the show at the very beginning. Breaking Bad started with a really like explosive opening where it's like, you want to catch the audience's attention right away, right?
The hook, as it's called when you're writing essays and letters.
Yes. Anyway, Breaking Bad started with like Walter White driving an RV down a road, really panicked and scared.
Yep.
Better Call Saul starts in a silent courtroom, and this silence lasts for about 3 minutes. Oh. And it's just everyone looking awkwardly at each other in a courtroom, waiting for Jimmy to arrive.
That's a good foil. That's great.
Yes. This is a strictly character-based drama. And as I said again before, it's one of the best character dramas I've ever watched. There's a particular episode in season 3, episode 5, called chicanery. Do you know what the definition of that is?
I've never heard of it.
It's some sort of like law thing. Probably one of the best episodes of TV I've ever watched.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the episode that pays off 2 seasons worth of character development between Jimmy and Chuck.
That's good. That's good. Payoffs is good.
Like the payoffs in this show is like it takes a while to get there, but when it hits, like holy shoot, it is like insane.
Nice.
Trying to think of the like, just the way it just. When I watch it, I can't keep my eyes off it. It's one of those shows where I can't stop watching.
It's not like one where it's like you can put it on and walk to another room and make yourself a sandwich or something,
just
right?
Like the way it's shot, the way the dialogue is written, it's just like there's like barely any action at all in this show. But
is there any like court action?
Yes, yeah. Like
okay,
every so often. At the end of the first season, there's Jimmy forges discrepancy in the date, which causes Chuck to lose that court case and make Jamie look like the good guy. It gets really complicated in the end of the first season, but like it starts out really like simple, like I want to be.
Stupid question. How many seasons are there?
There's 3. 4th is being filmed right now.
Okay. So it's ongoing. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. When season 3 wrapped, I was like, they haven't renewed it yet. I'm getting scared. And the end of season 3 was a real cliffhanger too. So it's like if they ended to here, that would suck. But yeah, I think it's just one of the best TV shows I've ever watched. That's the good.
All right. I guess it's time for me to move on to the bad for Ace Attorney.
Sure.
All right. So let's talk about a few of the things where I feel Ace Attorney does fall a little short. So for one, there are games in the series that didn't get brought over here, which sucks. Like nothing you can do about that. There's some games that you just cannot play anymore. One of the spin-off games, Miles Edgeworth, the 2 games that take place in the ancient Japan times, because they're like, we have no idea how we're going to get this localized, I think. So that does suck. There are fan translations out there. For the Miles Edgeworth spin-off number 2, there is an English fan translation, which, I mean, it's not perfect, but it keeps the tone, and it has a very consistent sort of comedic tone to the series. Like, for instance, every character's name is a pun. Every character's name is some type of pun that pays off really well, usually. You'll meet a character and you're like, why is your name this? And then it will be explained, right? So there is the couple games that are not translated, which does suck. It is also, there's the fact that compared to other, so the genre of game, which I've heard only recently, which I really like the name of, where it's a visual novel type game where you're trying to get to a truth. I've heard them called truth games, the truth genre of games. So this would be Professor Layton, this would be Danganronpa, this would be Virtue's Last Escape or Virtue's 999, right? Yeah. So it's any of those games where it's, mostly text-based, but you're trying to get to the truth, right? I've heard that those are that's the kind of subgenre of visual novel that they are. Compared to all the other truth games, this one is by far the most linear, to a point where there is almost zero missable content. You will hit everything. It is not a game that is open to, I'm not going to say not open to replay, because that's not true, but not open to experimentation. There's usually one right answer to everything. You have to do a checklist of things to move on, right? Like, so it is incredibly linear compared to any of the other truth games. It is either pass or fail. There is no shades of gray, right? Okay. Which does lead to, for example, when I moved on later to Danganronpa, which is a similar court-based game, although in a very different manner. It's still, I went to it and I feel like then going back to Ace Attorney, I feel very restricted. I feel very much like this could be doing more. But as a starter, it's absolutely wonderful. But it definitely doesn't go further than a lot of other pieces of media, right? Like it doesn't extend as far, which again can lead you to them really nicely, but you won't be able to go back very easily. I know some people say that it's not replayable. Some people say that once you beat the game, because you hit everything, you read the whole story, right? That you can't, there's nothing left, right? I would make the argument of like a good novel, you will want to read it years later, and even though you remember the big key points, there's so much that happens in between that you will forget it, right? So personally for me, I see myself replaying them kind of often. I don't remember everything. Like maybe like the first case because it's so simple of each game, but honestly, it goes so crazy later that it's like I can't remember everything. But for some people, they won't be able to replay it, and so for that might be a bit disappointing. Oh, okay. And then I don't know. Some people don't like the fact that it's not perfectly translated from Japan to America. It's localized. Characters' names are changed entirely. Jokes and references, not memes per se. There's a few memes, but this was DS era. Okay. There are memes in there during an era when putting a meme in a video game was unheard of, right? So there's some references and stuff there which I love. I'm a dumb idiot who claps whenever I recognize something, right? Like there's a clown who will just start singing the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme song, but saying in West Clownadelphia, born and raised, right? So like, and it's quick. It's not like it lingers on it. Like he gets hit and he sings this as a punishment, right? Like it's fast. But so it's stuff like that. Like I think that's great, but I know some people who hate that.
Okay.
There are, I think, patches out to make it one-to-one literally translated. But it's so boring. But that's, hey, you know, but like that is a thing that I know some people don't like. So those are a few of the caveats for sure.
Okay. Done?
Yep.
Okay.
Now for the bad.
The bad. Honestly, there's not much bad with this show.
Everything has a few problems.
As I said, there isn't much stimulating action in this show. So if you don't like
talking,
yes, if you don't like talking, there's like it's 95% dialogue driven, but like really good dialogue. Another part, in season 3, it kind of became 2 shows.
What?
In a sense, there was one show focused on Jimmy's life and all that.
Yeah,
but another show that also kind of meshes with the interesting a bit too, but that second show kind of detracts from the...
So wait, when you say a second show, do you actually mean like
a second plot line?
Okay, second plot line. Not like oh, we have another show now. Okay. I thought you meant they opened up another time slot for another show, and I'm like what?
Unrelated plot line.
Okay.
So they mesh together really well, but sometimes you want to like see what's going on here, and sometimes you want to go see like
Okay.
Yeah, that type of thing. Honestly, like
no, any bad episodes?
I haven't rewatched the series in a long time, so I think there was like one episode in season 1 that I wasn't too fond of.
But it's season 1, okay?
Yeah.
So it's still getting its bearing. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
Can I go into my interesting since like
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So as I said, this is a prequel to Breaking Bad. And usually prequel shows have a lot of references to the main show. Mm-hmm. So that second plot line I was referring to, it goes into the origins of a main villain in Breaking Bad. His name's Gus Fring.
I didn't even know Breaking Bad had villains. That's already interesting. Yeah. Go ahead.
It shows like how like he rose into like the meth business, and there's also another character called Mike Ehrmantraut, who's also one of the best actors on that show. In the main show Breaking Bad, he's more of this like hitman, tough guy. But in Better Call Saul, you see more of the human side of him. It's like his family, and there's also a lot of like Breaking Bad references, like some of the smaller characters and that type of stuff. You're like, oh yeah, I recognize him from the main show.
I'm clapping because I recognize we're base individuals.
Yeah. But yeah, I think like just the references to the main show are really cool.
Would you say you need to watch Breaking Bad to understand or get this show?
At all.
Okay, so they're not like important character from Breaking Bad references something from Breaking Bad that if you don't know, it's not explained.
Well, there's Saul Goodman wears a ring on his pinky finger in the main show, and you get to see where that came from.
Okay. But it's not like
you don't need to like.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing, but it's not a main plot line.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
But I think it would be more satisfying to watch the main show and then Better Call Saul.
For sure.
See all the references.
Yeah, that would be the best way to go about it.
Yeah.
For that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, the way you're talking about it, how it kind of goes like kind of side by, like it's not really a prequel where it starts just at the, like as soon as it ends, it's not like Breaking Bad begins. It sort of like overlaps a bit, like you said, right? Like there's this time when it overlaps.
They said like it hasn't happened like directly, but like I don't know. I think they said it would like overlap, but it hasn't done it yet, you know?
Okay, but I mean like even just timeline wise, has it?
No.
No? Okay, interesting. Okay.
It's only done it after and before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Yes.
Well, because you said during before.
Yeah, I did.
But it's not...
Yeah, I take that back.
Okay, fair enough. I just want to say, like, that just reminds me of... I beat the Digimon Hacker's Memory recently. And that's a game that's literally play as literally just a guy who looks like an NPC from the first game. And do like, as the main plot is happening, you do plots concurrently, and they sort of like stuff that you do. You get to see the results of what happens when the main characters from the first game are doing stuff. And so you get to then, like, at the end of the game, of the first game, you know, it's only like the main three characters are at the final boss, right? So what happens with all the side characters who are helping you throughout the rest of the game, right? So it's literally like taking all those side characters who got a bit of characterization, but then giving them their own time and like putting them into new situations, right? So it reminds me a bit of that, and I really do like that idea of a side quill. What is happening on the side? Though, mind you, I'm sure that is way more difficult to make than a prequel, because you have to consider timeline shenanigans.
And like Saul Goodman is such like a part of the show in like the second season and forward.
Okay,
and it's like a side thing. Like you already know what he's doing.
Yeah.
That type of thing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wonder if you could almost like watch, like piece together the shows to make like one long show, kind of like with just with his scenes or something.
Okay.
Like just take all his scenes out of Breaking Bad and then take all the scenes from the future of Better Call Saul and like put them all together.
There's only been 3 scenes.
Okay, so it's not been a major thing. Okay.
Yeah. Like at the beginning of each season, there's like maybe like a 5 to 7 minute. It's in black and white.
Oh, that's weird for the future.
Yeah,
that's because you think it's for
like
flashbacks.
The ending of Breaking Bad wasn't a happy ending. Well, it was in a sense, but it wasn't at the same time. It wasn't a happy ending for Saul Goodman.
Huh? Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, interesting.
Interesting.
Okay, there we go.
For you.
So for my takes on a few interesting things about Ace Attorney. So as I said, there's many ways to experience the first game. Like you have the game, you do have the anime, and then you have the live action movie, which kind of do things differently, but for the most part, they're the same story, right? But it's really interesting to see characters done in different ways, and just seeing how they kind of react. Because the original story of the game, you don't see much action per se. It's pretty much talking, upper bodies on screen, right? Action is just implied. So to actually see things in the extended universe was really interesting. For instance, it says, oh, I went to this place, and you're like, how did you go to the other side of town? Right? Like, how did he do it?
Yeah.
And so in all the extended universe stuff, it's revealed that, like, yeah, no, he goes by Nick. for Phoenix,
Okay.
right? He goes by Nick because it's short for Phoenix, so it's like
okay.
Nick. Nick is too poor to own a car. He bikes everywhere, and so you get to see him carrying his briefcase on his back, biking around, and you're like, oh, that's the struggle, isn't it? In the game, it's like implied where he like you don't get to see anything past I woke up and went to work, and like you don't get to see anything before that, right? But then in the extended universe, you get to see what about his actual house? Where does he live? And it's like just like this small crappy apartment, and like you get to see, oh, you know, it's like it's been months since we got a case and we're kind of running out of money, so he has to take odd jobs. And so through the extended media, you get this really interesting look at, okay, but what's your everyday life like? And I love seeing that. I love seeing how like this world works and stuff. Like it's because it's mostly the same world, right? But there's like small differences. Again, the idea of Japanifornia, which in the first couple games you're pretty good with. Oh yeah, it takes like there's nothing in there that would contradict it being in America, right? But then as you go later, it's like, oh yeah, there's this mountain village of Shinto priests, and it's like, that's not a thing in America. And then later you get to like a yokai themed amusement park, right? Not like Yokai Watch, but like the actual like mythical beast yokai. Yeah. And they're like, and so like you get there and Nick's like, yeah, there's been a lot of like yokai stuff lately. And then like your partner's like, yeah, ever since the Japanese settled in California after World War II, where they won. It's like they go into this and it talks about how like an alternate Pearl Harbor incident where Japan won led to like Japan invading the west coast of North America. Yeah. And like then they settled there and then the war's over. So it's like there's all these like little things and you're like, huh. And there's all the localization blogs. So you get to there's interviews with the people who did the process of bringing it over, and they said, yeah, we kind of made a big mistake when we wrote it to be California, but we kind of we came up with the stupidest best solution ever. So that's so much fun. There is also escape rooms in Japan for Ace Attorney, where you get you get to be in a murder, and then you don't get murdered, but you get to be around a murder incident, and then
really immersive.
After that you have to look for evidence, and then you go to court and have to argue your way through it.
That's neat.
So like you have a witness on the stand, and they will say stuff, and you have to find your evidence to contradict it. Like it's cool. Like it's really cool. And out of all of Capcom's big franchises, it is one of the biggest actually.
Okay.
It's up there with Monster Hunter, Street Fighter, and like I think the other one that's really big is. Well, in Japan, it'd be like Sengoku Basara, but that's kind of not a thing anymore. But like back in the day, like it was one of the major ones. And so definitely it's a series that is intertwined with Nintendo at this point. So you're going to get, they already announced that they are working on Ace Attorney 7 for the Switch, as well as there's no way they won't port 1 through 6 onto it. Yeah. Because it's just like, number one, they already have HD versions on the 3DS. And they already have iPhone versions, which run at a higher frame rate and resolution. So it's like, you're going to get them. So finding ways to play the games is not difficult. Heck, they released 1, 2, and 3 on WiiWare back in the day. So like they released it in so many different ways. You can get them on your phone. You can play through them entirely on your phone, right? So it's definitely not a game, if you're interested in, that you have to worry about having the system for. You probably do. But it's just one that I always enjoy going back to. The music's wonderful too. Like it's one of those games that you listen to the songs, and when they were on the Game Boy Advance, they're pretty good. Then they came to the DS and they became like so much better because I added in more instruments to it. So it's like just more sound channels, and you're like, this is the good stuff. So yeah, no, it was really good.
Yeah, cool.
All right, so I think we've gave our cases. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, about our two series here. If you have anything to say about either of these, which maybe you want to get your opinion out, maybe you really enjoy it, or maybe one of these you actually secretly hate and want to tell us why we're super wrong, you can either message us on our Twitter page at
Ships W Podcast,
Yes, or the email.
which is shipsworldwidepodcast@gmail.com.
Yes.
No spaces.
Well, of course, it's an email. The emails don't have spaces.
Well, it might have like hyphens or something.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
So yes, send us your stuff, and in the future, if we get
Any
messages,
questions you
any
want,
questions, maybe you want to know
critiques.
which is our favorite episode or game or something, you can definitely ask us, and even if it's for an earlier one, we can address some for sure. So, yes, we will see you all next week then.
We're going back to bed.
What? Going back to bed? Is that a reference? Is that a reference to...
It's a reference to an old podcast I'd like.
What?
Oh, was it a podcast?
What are you talking about?
It's secret.
What? What are you talking... You don't...
Thanks for listening.
Wait, you've broken me. What are you talking about?
Bye.
Okay, bye.